I don't know what to tell you, man. These guys that are on the internet, I don't care a rip about these guys. Like, this is not sales to me. This is survival, bro. Like, it's not about sales. It's about winning, hustling, fighting. It's about what you believe in, what you want for you and your family. Leave me alone, man. Next question. Like, let me do my thing. The number one strategy that has helped me in sales, has made me the most money, but also has put the customers in the best position, was something that I call. Honestly, I think a lot of the misconceptions are true. I don't think they're misconceptions. I think salespeople give their own selves a bad rap. There's a professional salesperson, and there's one that's not professional. I think all the things you hear are true in some respects. I don't think all of them are true all the time. I just think that, you hear about, a used car salesman or a shyster or someone who's shucking and jiving or someone who's, not providing value. That stuff happens all the time. There's no lies told. It comes down to when you start perfecting your craft and becoming a professional. Just like in anything else. You heard of a hack in baseball, someone who just swings at stuff. They're not a professional hitter. And the professional hitters have good eyes and they can hold off on swinging at stuff that is way out of the strike zone. You start to get into this habit of being a professional and you start to understand the do's and don'ts of being a professional. I don't think I ever embarked on a journey of sales. I think that I started selling stuff and it started to become something that, for me, it was just a way to make money. I mean, it wasn't, hey, you're in sales, or you do sales. Selling stuff became the title hustler, and hustler transitioned back into sales. And so there was a symbiotic relationship with hustling and sales, because at age 10, 11, 12, no one's dubbing you a salesman. They're probably dubbing you a slick cat more than they're dubbing you a salesman. I just was moving stuff. And so I started with lemonade, went to candy, went to clothes, and I started learning the art of selling. Selling is an art. And so you start figuring out, like, okay, why do people say no? Why do people say yes? Why do people say I want to think about it? You start to figure out a formula to how you want to present. And then you start figuring out, like, what you can live with in a day and what you can't. And it starts to develop into what I realized much later on in life was a sales career. But I didn't identify it that way early on. Value-based selling. The number one strategy that has helped me in sales, has made me the most money, but also has put the customers in the best position, was something that I call value-based sales. I would never want to sell a product that has no value, because if it has no value, then I'm just selling something. What is the rebuttal to you not having this? And now I could go up and show you, I had people come to my door and show me, multiple different shades of my rug and how it would be clean as a whistle if I bought this $1,500 vacuum. And this is back in the day. But let's be honest, did I need a $1,500 vacuum? No. My life was not going to change if that vacuum didn't come into my house or not. Matter of fact, we didn't have any money. We never bought it. My life didn't change. It just didn't change. I want to sell something that has value. Now, does a car have value? Yes, it does. You hear about used car salesmen and car salesmen all the time. I don't think they're all bad. I think some of them really know how to sell value. And I don't care if you're selling, a brand that you don't love or Mercedes-Benz. That's not the value I'm talking about. I'm talking about what the client came on the lot for. They didn't come on the lot to browse the lot. They came on the lot because they need a car. Nobody browses a lot when they don't need or want a car. Nobody. That's the psychology. You can't just sit around and on a Tuesday, on a Saturday and go, shit, let's just go to the Nissan lot. No one does that. So they go when their miles are getting too high, or their transmission is going, or their lease is coming to an end, or the payments they have are too high. That is why they actually got up off the couch and came to you. And so from there, it's all about value. What does your product provide that's valuable? Products, services, doesn't matter. When you're selling a product or service, you need to highlight what the product or the service does, 100%, but that is going to have to lead to a solution in order for money to exchange hands. I don't care what the product does. If it's not solving a problem or creating a solution for my needs, which is a value-based approach, then it's not gonna matter what, it doesn't matter what it does. Doesn't mean I can't sell something based on what it does or what it provides service-wise. I can, people do it because there's a lot of shoppers that buy on impulse. But when I get down to it, when money is going to exchange hands at a high rate, it's because of the positioning of what it brings to that individual and how it solves a solution. It's just a mindset. Pushy is a term that is overused on the derogatory side of sales. People use it as leverage against salespeople. The term is persistence, or the term is you're sloppy. You can't push someone into buying us anything. That doesn't make any sense. But if someone says you're pushy, then you're pushy. That's how it works. So you don't want to fall in the pushy category, because if someone says you're pushy, then you end up pushy. But they manipulated you into labeling you pushy so you can back off. The reality is persistence. It's you following up. It's you following up professionally. And if you, again, stay solution-based, stay solution-based, stay solution-based. The only way to re-engage or to help someone is, again, remind them of their problem. If you didn't do the right discovery, then you don't know what their problem is. So you can't stay solution-based. So when you go back in, it's like, oh, there's that guy again. You have no value to offer. And once you get the pushy label, you're about toast, because it's hard to come back from that. But just understand, you could avoid that altogether with your technique. I don't remember the last time someone said I was pushy. I don't, and I'm selling all the time. I don't know when the last time someone used that term. Maybe it's so amateur hour, or I don't know. Maybe I just understand the psychology of the people that I'm communicating to, and I don't know. I think that's how I would answer that. Every product's different. Every service is different. When you're tailoring your technique, stuff's always gonna backfire. Because quite honestly, if you go from selling mortgages at one shop and then you go starting to sell mortgages at another shop, there's something you don't know. You know the process, you know the foundation, you know the ins and outs of it, but you might not know their product all the way. So when you go to pitch, you might lean in the wrong way, or you might lean back because you're not confident enough when you're first, second, third, fourth, fifth time doing that. So backfiring is gonna always take place. I think that's part of sales. I think that's a good part of sales. As I went from company to company in the mortgage business, my technique didn't change, but I had to wrap my mind around what I'm doing differently with the product. When I went from the mortgage business to the insurance business, my technique changed completely, because I went from a 3-week, sometimes longer sales cycle where I have to build the relationship differently to, I'm in your house, we got to do business today. That freaked me out a little bit, because I'm so used to nurturing the relationship a certain way that I didn't know how to just kind of get you to react. I had to change the way I did things. So I ran into stuff that failed. Of course it failed. I mean, I had to grow in that technique of selling. So I wouldn't overjudge yourself in situations where you're trying stuff and matter of fact, a big portion of sales is trying to better your close. You might have a close that works really well for a number of seasons, and then the season changes and you have to change it. So you're always going to be trying new stuff. You should always be trying new stuff. And what you're really, the main thing, the reason why you're trying new stuff is to relate better with the client and to help them with solutions better. That's really all you're doing. Yeah, I've definitely overpromised and underdelivered before in sales, probably numerous times. As a matter of fact, again, I think these are all how you cut your teeth in sales. I was talking to my barber the other day, and one of the barbers in the shop said, "Hey man, how long did it take for you to be confident in knowing what you were doing with all kinds of hairstyles?" And he took a deep sigh and said, "Probably 4 years." And we kind of all started laughing. I'm like, "So you were experimenting on cats for 4 years, messing up hairlines, figuring out hairstyles, all this stuff?" The reality is yes. That doesn't mean that's what he wanted. It's just what he had to do to get in to becoming a professional barber. He's an elite barber. And so, I was talking to someone the other day talking about performing surgeries and having to perform surgeries as a rookie and as someone getting better at it, and like how many times maybe everything didn't go exactly the way they planned. Doesn't mean people died. Sorry. It just means that you have to start somewhere. You're not just gonna go to medical school and come out and be an expert in your field. That's not how this works. You're not even a professional. So honing your skills, going back to the lab, studying, practicing in front of the mirror, practicing with another buddy, a workmate, doing this stuff, and then practicing on the client. I used to practice on my clients. I literally would stay after they said no, the 5th time, I'd stay on the phone for a lot longer. I'd stay in their house a lot longer to develop skin thick enough to handle it at its root easier. The guys who dunk all over people in basketball have been dunking on cats for a long time. They didn't just understand body contact and how to maneuver themselves in the air to come out on top. They've been doing the body contact thing for a while with guys, and so now they know how to maneuver their bodies in certain ways and contort them to yam on you. You don't just wake up and start dunking on people. The first time you do it, you probably got lucky and the whole gym lit up. But it doesn't work that way when you're a professional and you're constantly Vince Cartering on people. You actually are a professional dunker, and you know how to configure and contort your body in the middle of the air to get the angle over this portion of the hand, shoulder, or head to get to the rim and do what you want to do and finish strong. That's how this thing works. So make no mistake about it. You are making mistakes the whole time. Fail your way to success. That's how you become successful. And if you overpromise and underdeliver, apologize and do better the next time to set your expectations up correctly so that you can get better every time, and then you underpromise and overdeliver. You want to be in that category of being the person that underpromises and overdelivers, but it takes time, and it takes rhythm, and it takes synchronization, and it just takes time. They're scared. They're afraid of the word no. They're afraid of the way the person treated them the last time they're on the call. They maybe made a mistake. I've been there so many times where I'm looking at the file, I'm going, I don't want to dial the number, because you're just, you got your own insecurities. There's a lot of insecurities in sales. And even the best salespeople go into meetings insecure because there's a butterfly aspect of both sides, going in for the pitch and coming out with the win. So it's an amazing, it's not for the faint of heart, I'll tell you that. You'll feel it you'll know when to walk away from a sale all the time, because you'll know when the customer's not a right fit, or you're not going to be able to meet their demand, meet their requirement, meet the goal. A lot of times walking away is the fact that you provided all the value you could provide and it's just not working out. Or I'm not going to waste my time for hours and hours. You're not going to ask me every question ever made and known to man just because you want to, put me on a cooker and roast me. I'm not getting roasted. I don't mind answering questions and delivering answers to that, but you're not going to make a mockery out of me professionally and my time. There's just no way I'm gonna let you waste my time in sales. And so that means in order for you to not waste my time, I have to get better at what I'm doing and deliver a lot of the things I know you're gonna ask in the front end of the presentation. That's a professional. You want to develop a healthy relationship with the word no, no matter what. You're going to hear it a lot. The top producers hear it more than anyone else. I don't think there's anything wrong with the word no. I don't. I actually think the word no helps you get better. I've gone 8 to 10 hour days and heard 8 to 10 no's. And it felt like, it felt crummy at the end of the day, but I built resolve, got back on the horse, and maybe I got 6 to 8 yeses the next day. You realize that some days, every day is not going to be a success the way you drew it up on paper, but a success by the way you handle it and the way you develop your thick skin, the way you develop your mindset, the way you develop the way you're growing in your profession. I think the word no helps to get to the word yes. And so what do you think? You're going to show up and 100% of people are going to say yes all the time? No. I mean, I heard Kelsey Ballerini say on The Voice the other day that she still gets told no. I mean, I don't know how many country hits she has. Smash country hits. And she gets still told no. You think someone who makes that many smash hits is gonna get told yes all the time? That's what people at the bottom think. Oh, they just have it easy. Oh, they just roll out the red carpet for them. At the top, you don't see that. That doesn't mean you don't have better relationships. It doesn't mean you don't get yeses. That doesn't mean you don't have things that are working out. But dude, I can only imagine how many projects, I'm just talking about her because she said that. I can only imagine how many projects she has on the table right now that are not all gonna work out. They can't. Whether the people want them, whether they can't meet her number, whether they can meet her number and she can't do it time-wise, whether the project's not for her, whether, you know what I'm saying? Like, no is a part of life. You want to develop a great relationship with the word no because it's going to help you continue to mature as a entrepreneur, a professional, a business person, and it's going to allow you to put yourself in rooms where you're not fazed by how people are moving inside the room. You're coming in to get a victory, you're going to come out with a victory because you're battle tested and you know how to win. For me, it's not about sales. It's about winning. It's about hustling. It's about fighting. It's about what you believe in and what you want for you and your family. It's not about sales. Sales is a technique. It's a way to maneuver inside of a situation. The drive, the fortitude, the thick skin, the hustle, the work ethic that's what outperforms. I think I've seen people with awful accents break through barriers because even though the people don't understand them, they are cognizant enough that the people don't understand them and they take their time more. And when the people say, "What'd you say?" they don't get upset. They reposition and repeat what they said. Bruh, that's all mindset. They're winners. I just think that they're hustlers and they're winners and they're not gonna, you wanna talk about not taking no? Like, winners don't accept no. They accept it, they might accept it for the minute, but they don't accept it long term. They know that yes, and winning is coming. Top 3 skills for a new salesperson to focus on. Number 1 is I would focus on work ethic. I would actually do the activity more than I would think about anything else. You can hone anything you want skills-wise if you do the activity. Number 2, I would not be offended by I was very offended early on with what people said to me. And if you can't make a sale being offended, no one's gonna buy from you. People buy from people they like. They're not gonna like you if you're offended. It's so simple that people won't like you if you're always offended. Nobody will like you. And so don't be offended. At the end of the day, find a healthy relationship with course correcting yourself and getting better. Get better yourself. And number 3, I would say, is practice in the mirror. If you're presenting, practice in the mirror. People are freaked out by looking at themselves in the mirror and verbalizing. I literally put mirrors all over my basement when I wanted to become a better presenter. And I presented with the clock on, counting down what I was going to speak about so that I was within time and that I knew my mannerisms. I'm looking in the mirror doing it. Now, do I want my son, my daughter, or my wife watching me while I do it? No. But I do it on my own. My wife's like, you want me to watch? I'm like, leave me alone, man. Like, let me do my thing. But I'm not performing for anybody. I'm performing for the mirror, which means I'm performing for myself. I need to know how I'm going to react in certain situations. And that's kind of how you should focus on your pitch, your craft, your elevator pitch, your scripting. I'm not reading from a script because I'm working. I'm practicing. I'm working. I'm practicing. I have no problem trying a different trial close on a client if I think it's the right time. And it might not work. That's okay. I'm attempting. And that's what you got to focus on. Activity kills and pays the bills. If I had an extra hour each day in order to make more sales, I would pay the price early so that I could have the skill set later. Again, the way you make more sales is by being able to handle more no's and working longer hours. I would have thick skin. I would allow the clients, I would put myself in positions where the ship is sinking on this sales call or this sales presentation, and I would ask questions that would push me and push the client. An uncomfortable question that maybe I wasn't ready to ask early in the presentation that I'm gonna ask now. And I'm not asking it for any value but for me to get better. That's it. So I take an extra hour and I go, I'm uncomfortable, and I work for another hour. Uncomfortable. And every day I work an extra hour to get more uncomfortable, whatever that is. Whether that's more work in the mirror, whether that's more scripting, whether that's, getting on the phone with clients and dragging things out, whether that's me asking someone to role play with me or me role playing in front of a room because I might feel embarrassed. I want to spend an extra hour a day being more and more uncomfortable, because the more uncomfortable you get, the more comfortable your family gets.